Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy, my channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go over gold and silver, do some technical analysis. We'll look at the dollar, we'll look at the 10-year, we'll look at some ETFs and a couple of different individual companies just to see what's going on. I know we had a pretty good update today, and let's see what the charts are telling us and where important parts, or I should say important price areas that we need to break in order for this to, I think, have staying power and reverse the downtrend that we're in. So let's jump in and look at some gold and silver, some charts. And I'm going to start right off with the dollar and the gold price. You can see dollar weakness today. This is going to help our commodities. It was coming on down and it was weak the entire time, all the way from 8 p.m. all the way forward. And you can see that gold responded in the opposite direction and really got some legs under it. Now, I do think that the dollar is going to decline in value. I think this index is going to go down, but that is my viewpoint and my opinion. If you guys think that it's going to go up, I would definitely hit up a deflationary channel and not an inflationary channel. I think we're going to have inflation. I think that we are going to have inflation because of the real estate market and where we are in that cycle. Here's the 10-year yield. Looks like the yield itself is firming up. We've got wicks at the bottom here. There's some buyers down here is what I like to call it. It came down, bounced, came up, and now we're putting in a bullish engulfing here for yields to go higher, I think, at some point in the near term. We've got this downtrend that we're trying to break. We break the downtrend, and I think we're going into a new uptrend. And yields are going to provide a headwind to stocks and bonds, and I think that money is going to flow out of stocks and bonds and into our commodity sector and precious metals. That's what I think will happen eventually. And you're going to see companies start to buy physical precious metals, was it Palantir? They bought some. I think you're going to see more of it. Now, we do have some work to put in on the ETFs. We came up, kind of came back, a lot of good momentum. We had a good update today, had some good volume. And the physical precious metals, in terms of the contracts, were up today. But I would say we still have to get above this portion up here, $35 and close above 35 for me to get really excited. So we still have work to put in here. I don't want to see this thing roll back over. So we're not out of the clear. We got to keep, the buyers got to keep the foot on the pedal here. GDX looking, so I was zoomed in here. I like zooming back out. Zooming back out, we do have support at the area that we're in. You can see it right here. But I'd like to get above this 35. And the reason for this is we've got a high here, this group of highs, lower high, and we've got a low and a lower low. I want to see this reverse and make a higher low and then a higher high and reverse this to an uptrend. Because right now we're kind of meandering sideways right now. I'd like to get it into an uptrend. SILJ is doing the same thing. We pulled on back, lots of momentum pulling back here. I'd like to break above 1450 and hold above here, somewhere up here. We can get back up here, pull back, and then take on off and get through this 1750 garbage area all up here and really start moving. It's going to take some time, though. SILJ's got a lot of work. If you look at this picture here, we've got this resistance line or support resistance line going across. We broke to the downside, back tested, and we're heading lower. Right now, we are in a downtrend. And I'm going to move this, make another line. We got to break, first we have to break this downtrend line right there. We've got the downtrend line here. We got to break that. And then we got to break this resistance line right here. I'd like to get in that like 16, 17 up here again and close up there. We got a lot of work before, $13 and $16 or $17. And we've got a lot of resistance right ahead of us. We got to break through all that stuff if we're going to hold up there. Franco-Nevada, looking at the short term, I don't see any bottoming patterns per se. We do have a bunch of bullish engulfings back here. So We got to get the buyers got to stay in here. Looking at it from a little bit longer term perspective, I didn't really see short term type patterns. We got some resistance through here. I think if you break 160, we're moving above 160. Wheat and precious metals, we're zoomed in. I'm looking for the candlestick patterns in here. I don't really see too much. Maybe a little bit of a bullish engulfing here, but we got to keep moving on up. We got to get through this 45, 46-ish area and above and close up there. Looking at it from a long-term perspective, again, we came up and we're in this pullback. We broke that downtrend. That was good. We're coming through here. This is a higher low than this low. So now we got to break through this area in here around 48, 49 bucks and close above it to be in a new uptrend. Endeavor Silver, we broke this trend line here and we're still coming back down. Here it is on a bigger picture view. I like the bigger picture view a little bit better. We still have a lot of work to do. A lot of work before this thing is heading higher, because right now we're in a new downtrend. So we're still in that downtrend. We still have a lot of work to do. Here's Barrick Gold, just to give you kind of another big picture view of a larger corporation. Here's a high, lower high, lower high, and we've got this low. We need this low to stick here, and then we need to break up above 2210 and close and get out of this and then eventually break this downtrend, maybe up here at 2324. We got a lot of work to do. So I don't think we're out of the woods yet. I mean, sure, it feels good to be up, but we're still in downtrends. We got to get the momentum going to the upside. The buyers they got to keep their foot on the pedal here and push us higher. If we don't get pushed higher, the downtrend remains intact and we're heading lower. On the long term, though, I do think I've been trying to think about what could ruin the big structural move that I think is coming in precious metals and commodities. I still think the structural underpinnings, the market conditions in terms of expansion phase of real estate, the inflation that comes with it, and then higher interest rates that come with inflation, I still think that's all intact. We may have short-term pressures to the downside. Maybe there's some deflation still lurking out there in the short term. If there is, we're going to continue to see downward pressure. If there isn't, if it's just a paradigm shift that people are viewing things where they're viewing it like it's transitory inflation, this stuff's all going to go away, when they realize that it's not going away, that's when the epiphany will happen for most people. That's when I think we'll get the bulls, the bears to turn into bulls and the bulls to remain bulls. And then all this will shift. I don't know when that will happen. I don't know the timing, but I know it will happen if we continue with an expansion phase of real estate. That is, every time in history we've had inflation under expansionary phases of real estate. And I don't think this time's different. So that's my viewpoint. I'm in the inflation camp. I'm definitely not in the deflation camp. And I am viewing it and looking at it from real estate in an expansion phase, and that's where the inflation is going to originate from. All this other inflation that is created is just icing on the cake. So if you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.